Welcome to the Manifest Your Wellbeing video series. This is the episode number 1. In the introductory video, we spoke about well-being, about its definition, its dimensions. We spoke about the subjective, objective, and psychological dimensions of well-being, also about hedonic happiness, life satisfaction, and self-actualization. And finally, I gave you an explanation about why paying attention to your mindset, nutrition, and exercise, they can positively affect your overall levels of well-being. We also talked about the well-being on its historical context, and we spoke about some research done by coral reefs. We spoke about also the Nicomachean ethics, and we spoke about the research done in the 60s and 70s. In this episode, we will be focusing on mindset and attitude. I would like to give you a detailed explanation about what mindset and what attitude are. And firstly, we'll be talking about mindset, where I'm going to give you 2 different theories or 2 different approaches about mindset. The first theory, it's a task-based approach and will help you to break down a goal in different smaller manageable phases. It is designed as a goal-setting, goal-achieving approach, mindset approach. And the second theory on mindset, it's a binary system that will give you an easy psychological tool for you to apply on your belief system. They will complement each other, as we will see. These 2 ways of understanding mindset, they means that you will get and have a capacity of insight and perspective. Different insight and perspective. Insight, because you will have insight on your goals and the process and the whole goal setting, striving and achievement process. It will help you to have a perspective on the different parts of your goal to help you achieve your goal efficiently. And it will give you a perspective on what's the best type of mindset to have and to adopt on the broader sense. I will then proceed with talking about attitude and give you a detailed definition on the second part of this video. Now I would like to introduce you to the mindset theory of action phase. This is based on the work done by Peter Golowitz. In this system, when talking about mindset, we have to have goal in mind. What we have in mind is the goal setting, striving, and achievement processes. This theory is concerned with the different steps that they go from desiring to achieving a goal. The achievement of a goal starts from a desire and ends with the action outcome. This is a horizontal line that has different action phases, and the individual has to successfully complete each segment to reach the desired outcome. Mindset in this context are the cognitive processes or orientations that allow for easy completion of a different action phases. It is the way you acquire knowledge and process the information that allows you to complete an action phase and in turn helps you to move towards the chosen goal. Let's see, you have the point A to point Z, the beginning to the end. The beginning is the point A, is the desire, where the desire comes from your goal, and it will end in the point Z. The point Z will be the outcome, the action outcome. Between point A to point Z, you have different action phases. You have different steps that you have to go through. You have the B, C, D, E, F, up to Z. So the whole process from A to Z started from desire
and ending on action outcome, it will be separated, it will be divided in different segments, in different action phases. And in order to reach the next action phase, the next segment, you have to successfully complete the current phase that you are in. For instance, you start from desire. You have to decide, then you have to plan, then you have to act. And when you're acting, there are different stages of a goal. If you want to achieve a specific goal, you break down in different phases, and then you have to go from phase to phase and complete them successfully in order to achieve your goal, in order to get to Z, to the action outcome. But when you get there, you have to see, has this goal been achieved or not? You have to question yourself. There's a whole process. If not, you may have to go back. And it happens as well in each action phase. When you finish an action phase, okay, I got there. Is it successfully completed? If not, what can be done? Should I go back? Should I change my strategy? It will depend on the result. Mindset is the way you acquire knowledge and process information. It's also related to the way you put the information into action. Mindset here has 3 different steps. Okay? The approach of mindset is the way you acquire information, the way you process this information, and the way you put this information into action. So, the first step is how do I acquire knowledge? I have to gather the information in order to achieve my goal. So this is the first step. The second step is when I have this information, when I have this knowledge, how do I process this knowledge in the most efficient way, in the best way possible? And finally, when I gather the knowledge I need, when I process this knowledge, I have to put this knowledge into action, into practice. I have to act on what I have learned, on what I have processed. So this is the third phase. And very important, the mindset in this context will change from step to step. I will have to adopt a different mindset depending on the different stage of goal setting, striving, achievement I am in. It will be different when I'm gathering information, when I'm learning, when I accumulating knowledge. I have to have a specific mindset that will help me to acquire knowledge for this specific outcome in the most efficient way. Then, when I'm in the second stage, I'm processing the information, my mindset has to be specific as well. I will have to change my approach, I will have to change the mindset I have, the set of attitudes I have, depending on the stage. So I'll be having a mindset specific to process this information, to decide, to see, okay, what should I keep, what should I leave, what's the best way, what's the best outcome, what's the best route. And when I have decided, it's time for the third step is putting all this information into action. And then it needs a specific set of attitudes. So it will be different, the mindset, the set of attitudes that I have when I'm gathering information, it may be different from the mindset, from the set of attitudes that I will have when I'm putting this information into practice. Mindset is the state of mind that allows you to go from point A to B to C in the most efficient way. It is the mental state that helps you to complete the necessary steps, the necessary tasks to go from the current to the next distinct action phase. Mindset is the state of mind that will help you to go from point A to B to C in the most efficient way. It is the mental state that helps you to complete the necessary task to go from the current to the next distinct action phases. As you see, the mindset will be the state of mind, will be the set of attitudes that I will have that will help me to go from segment to segment through my goal in the most efficient way. For you to get the mindset theory of action phase and put it into practice, you need to understand also a model for goal setting and achievement called Rubicon Model of Action Phases. And those two, they go together, and I'm going to explain you why. In this mindset theory, so you have a specific mindset for a specific stage of your goal. No? On the Rubicon Model of Action Phases, you get your goal, and you're going to divide your goal into different segments, and you're going to identify each of these segments, and then you get this. You have different segments of your goal that you're going to divide, and they are recognizable, identifiable. You know where you are from the process from A to Z. That's what the Rubicon Model of Action Phases does. It helps you to divide. This is your goal. Let's divide my goal in 2, 3, 4 X phases. Okay? And now I know where I am on my goal. What's the steps that I have to take? What's the phase that I'm in? And the mindset theory of action phase also has a specific mindset that they will go and fix to each specific stage that you are in your goal. So from one side you have your goal, from another side you have the specific mindset. You have a specific phase of your goal that you need to have a specific mindset for it, and then you put these two theories together. Okay? The Rubicon model, it helps you to divide your goal in different segments and identify from desiring, from starting your goal to achieving your goal. And it also helps you to separate and to identify the motivation and your ability to make your own decisions in order to achieve your goals. To better understand the Rubicon model and its context, I will share you a story. Okay? It's about Julius Caesar's story when he finished his victorious on the Gallic Wars. He goes to Europe, he fights the Gallic tribes in Europe, and he wants to go back. Okay? This is the year 52 before Christ. And when Julius Caesar wants to go back, there's a problem. He's a governor for Rome, and as a governor, he can lead troops. And he wanted to go to Rome to get elected for senator in Rome. So there was a rule in Rome saying that no governor should enter Rome with his troops. This is one rule. And another rule was that for you to go to elections as a senator, you should be physically present in Rome. What happens is a governor has legal immunity. So as long as you're a governor, a Roman governor, no one can touch you. However, you cannot enter Rome if you're with your troops. And Julius Caesar was told, don't enter Rome with your troops, otherwise it will be an act of treason. No? The way they got around this, because it was normal that a Roman governor, would go to the Senate. However, he would step down before he would enter Rome as a private citizen, and then he would enter elections, be a senator. But it wasn't an option for Julius Caesar for many reasons, and one reason was his legal immunity and his dispute with other powers in Rome. So what he does, he goes with his troops up. The story is that at a certain point, there's the Rubicon River, is a shallow river, and Julius Caesar, he stops there and he thinks, okay, what's the decision I should take? Now, I'm going to go or not go to Rome. And his decision is to enter Rome. The border that he wasn't allowed to cross was this river called Rubicon. And then he decides to cross this river. And the outcome is civil war and he becoming a senator. The Rubicon Model is named after this event, as in each phase of action, specific boundaries they have to be crossed to allow an individual to go to the next stage. And when Caesar decides to cross the Rubicon River, he entered a point of no return. The Rubicon Model addresses questions related to how people choose their goals, what is the planning involved, how people act, and how they evaluate the outcome of their actions. The different phases related to goal setting and achievement, they start from desiring and ends with achievement, as I said. Now, I'm going to talk about the phases of goal setting and achievement related to the Rubicon Model. I will then link it to the different types of mindset needed to successfully complete each task. By understanding these concepts, you will have an insight on how goal-oriented tasks work. Addressing these 4 questions: how people choose their goals, what is the plan involved, how people act, and how they evaluate the outcome of their actions as well. Now it's time to look at the 4 different phases of a goal. According to the Rubicon Model, a goal can be divided in 4 different distinct phases. Okay? How we look at it? We look at action and we look at decision. First, you have to decide, then you have to act. Okay? So, these 4 stages are: before I make a decision, when I desire something, an outcome, or when I have to choose in between different outcomes, it's before I make a decision. Then I will decide what outcome I want, what goal to take. Then I have to take action on what I have decided. And finally, after the action, I have to look back and forth and see what's the outcome, what's the consequences of my actions. So the 4 different phases according to the Rubicon Model are: pre-decisional phase, before making a decision; post-decisional phase, after making a decision; actional phase, when I act on my goal; and finally, post-action phase is after I acted, then I look at what are the results. The pre-decisional phase, it's when I'm choosing between potential goals. Before making a decision, pros and cons of one's desire are considered by assessing how much the goal is desired and how feasible it is. I have a desire big enough, and it has to be possible to achieve a goal. The pre-decisional phase is related to how much I desire a goal and how feasible it is. The second phase is the post-decisional phase. It's concerned with choosing the implementation of a potential goal. After deciding what goal to pursue, it's the time to decide when, where, and how the goal will be implemented. This is a planning phase where I detail the specifics of what has to be implemented in order to achieve the goal. I have decided what I want to do. Now I have to make a plan. Where is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And how is it going to happen? Next, now is the actional phase. I have to act on what I have decided, what I have been planning. In the actional phase, it's time to take action. It's when one progresses towards the goal by acting on the plan with the intention of completing each phase successfully. This is very important. Each step has to be completed successfully in order to go to the next stage. When you are acting, you also have different processes. You have from A to B to C to D up to the end. In this actional phase, for you to go from point A to point B, you have to successfully complete point A, go to point B, complete point B, C, up to the end. And finally is the post-actional phase. This is the last phase of stages according to the Rubicon Model, and this time is time of assessing the outcomes. After the action is completed, the outcome is evaluated by looking at how each action has been performed and what still needs to be done to achieve the desired outcome, if applicable. In this phase, I look backwards to evaluate the outcome of my actions and also look forwards to see what still have to be done. Now, we see that we have 4 phases. Okay, you have pre-decision, post-decisional, action, and post-action. And each phase is specific. When I'm choosing between goals, when I choose a goal, then I choose the goal, I plan on the goal, and then I have to act on the plan, and finally I have to look back and see what happened. Is it successfully? What's the outcome? Am I happy? If not, what has to be done? How can I go to the next level? The mindset now is how the mindset theory of action phase and the Rubicon model, they get together, because the Rubicon model has these 4 different phases, and the mindset for each stage, each phase of the Rubicon model, they will be specific. Okay, you have 4 phases. For the pre-decisional phase, you have a specific mindset that will help you to achieve this phase more efficiently. For the post-decision, you have the actional phase, and the actional phase and post-decisional phase is a different approach. The mindset, the mental attitude that you have to have when you're acting on your goal, it is different compared to when you're planning. And finally, when you're looking back, the way you're looking at the goal, the way how you're looking back and forwards, assessing the outcome of your actions, is a specific way of seeing as well. Now it's time to talk about the 4 different mindset types, each one is specific for the Rubicon model phases that we have spoken about. There are 4. The first one is deliberative. The second is implemental. The third is actional. And the fourth is evaluative. And as I go through the theory, you will see that it makes sense. Because when you desire and we are choosing between goals, you're thinking about, you're deliberating what action to take, what to choose. Then you have to implement. So we have to have a mindset that's implemental. What's the best way to implement what I have just chosen? And then you have action. It's about action, no? Actional. You need a mindset specific to put things into practice, to act on what you have decided. And finally, you have to evaluate. In the post-actional phase, you have to evaluate the outcome, the consequences of your action. So you have a mindset that is evaluative. Now we are going starting with the first mindset, which is the deliberative mindset. It's related to the pre-decisional phase, when an individual chooses between potential goals. A deliberative mindset is used when you are engaged in a long and careful consideration in order to decide what is the best choice to make. This is the first step of goal setting. You have the option to pursue different goals, and before deciding which goal to embrace, you carefully consider each option. This is related to desirability and feasibility. Here, you are concerned with how much you desire a goal compared to all the other options. Then, you gather the information and assess the positive and negative consequences of the outcomes. To do so, you have to have relevant information to make a reliable estimation of the outcomes. When you are gathering information and evaluating it, it's helpful to have an open-mindedness towards the knowledge you are acquiring and processing. It is also helpful to be impartial when considering different options. The goal has to be desired but also feasible. You want to pursue a goal that's possible to be achieved. It has to allow the individual to evaluate the information with accuracy and to deliberate impartially. Now, the mindset has to allow the individual to approach this phase with an open mind, with accuracy and impartiality. Okay? We see that we are going to evaluate between positive and negative outcomes. We have to have an open mind to see all the different options and see what is the best options, and you have also to have impartiality. You cannot have bias between choosing one or other option. Once the decision has been made about which goal to pursue, it's time to choose the best way to implement it. The implementational mindset is concerned with the information related to time, space, and action by answering the following questions. When is it going to happen? Where is it going to happen? And how is it going to happen? Now, very important. Now it's not time to be concerned of the goal or if the goal is either desirable or feasible. You have decided what goal is. Now, these questions have been settled in the previous phase. The mindset has to be focused, narrowed to the goal itself and on the opportunities to initiate action. When planning the implementation of the steps to achieve your goal, you have to be optimistic about how desirable, feasible it is. Now, it's time to say, let's do it. The third mindset is the actional mindset, related to the actional phase, acting on the chosen goal. The actional mindset is when you take action and you are going to be single-minded, focused on your goal. You act on your plan without being concerned about if it's desirable or feasible. Or if there are other ways to execute the tasks, you don't want that. You did it in phase 1 and 2. Now, it's the time to be fully immersed in what you're doing, and the single thought in your mind is to achieve the goal. The mindset for this phase is closed to any information that could shake your belief system or could make you re-evaluate your goal. This mindset is attuned to cues that drive you towards the attainment of the tasks being performed, excluding, pay attention, excluding what can make you re-evaluate your goal. And finally, we have the evaluative mindset related to the post-actional phase. Now we talk about assessment of outcome. At this phase, you are going to look at the results of your efforts. You've deliberated, you have planned, you have acted. As a result, you now have the fruits of your outcome. The evaluative mindset in this phase is concerned with the results and consequences of your action and how it compares to your expectations. You have to evaluate if your goal has been reached and if the results are satisfactory. You evaluate the results by comparing the estimated outcome desired in the phase 1, the pre-decisional phase, adopting a deliberative mindset, with the actual outcome and consequences of your action. The questions that you could ask here is the goal achieved, for first question? If it's not, why? What can be done? Then you may have to go back to phase 3 to act again. If the goal has been achieved, how the results compare to expectation, what have I learned, and what could be done better. The mindset in this phase has to allow you to evaluate the results with an impartial approach, allowing you to assess the quality of the outcome. The type of mindset that can help you to achieve your goals efficiently has to be impartial, critical, and open-minded. As we see, when we are deliberating about what course of action to take, you have to have an open mind. You have to see different options and be impartial. Then, when you're planning, you have to be more focused, you have to be specific, and you have to see different possibilities and what the outcome are. But we are not concerned about other options, about other goals. We have chosen the goals already. Now, you're just specific about planning. And finally, we act. We are focused, single-minded. And when you get the fruits of our work, it's time to evaluate.
Now we are going to review the fixed versus growth mindset theory developed by Carol Dweck. It focuses on the implicit beliefs an individual holds about her abilities. When trying to understand the beliefs that students hold about their intelligence, Dweck noticed a pattern where some students were obsessed about their level of intelligence, and it was evident in a particular way they thought about it. The whole idea of worrying about intelligence and trying to document it all the time implies that the student think of it as a fixed, concrete thing. On her research, she documented that some students hold a belief that they only have a certain amount of intelligence, that it's fixed and cannot increase. So, their strategy is to better show that they have enough intelligence if that was their belief, or to hide their level of intelligence if their perception is that they don't have enough of it. It's called fixed mindset. In contrast, other students are excited about learning new things, trying the same things in a different way, and are willing to be challenged. What makes students oriented towards learning is a different way of thinking about their intelligence. They are focused on developing their intelligence, which implies that they think of it as a dynamic, malleable quality, something that can be cultivated through their efforts. It's called growth mindset. According to the theory of mindset, indications of success are love of learning new things, willingness to embrace challenges, and persistence when facing obstacles. And people with a growth mindset show these characteristics. The fixed versus growth theory of mindset is a type of philosophy of life where, with a growth mindset, we hold the belief that we can cultivate our intelligence, our ability, our skills. It's about the way we see ourselves and the belief we have on our capacity to evolve and grow. We can apply this mindset to our daily life by looking at the world as a place of opportunities, by asking ourselves how can we do things better, by having less rigid judgments about ourselves and our abilities.
Carol Dweck, psychologist and creator of the fixed versus growth mindset, she says that depending on the way people view themselves, it will have a significant impact on the outcome of their life. A fixed mindset assumes that creativity, character, and intelligence are static and cannot be changed in a meaningful way. However, a growth mindset thrives on challenge and see failure as opportunity to grow. Dweck says that we manifest these mindsets from a very early age and they influence our life in several aspects. How you see yourself affects the way you lead your life. It affects the outcome of your actions by helping or obstructing you from reaching your goals. By changing from a fixed to a growth mindset, it can have profound effects in individual success. This view on mindset can be helpful when we look at ourselves and see that we have potential for growth. And we believe that there is untapped potential in our abilities, that we can learn more, that we can do better, that we can be a better person, and that we can do things in a different way, that we can learn from our mistakes, that we have potential, that we can learn more, that we are not consciously aware of all our potential. It's like a fixed mindset is like looking at life as a glass that's half empty, and a growth mindset looking at life as a glass half full. This approach helps you to see the unlimited potential that there is in the human being, and your capacity is greater than what you can acknowledge. You can take one of two approaches when thinking about your abilities. One approach is to think that your abilities are fixed and you cannot change the circumstances in life. People with this type of mindset would avoid challenges, give up easily, or not accept constructive criticism. When they fail, they identify themselves with the failure and they say, "I am a failure." When there's a bad weather, they let it negatively impact and influence their emotions. When they confront a part of their personality that they don't like, they don't try to change it. The other growth approach is based on the understanding that in nature, life grows as much as possible. A tree will grow as tall as it can be. Challenges are opportunities for growth, and criticisms are ways to look at ourselves from someone else's perspective. When you fail, you don't identify yourself with failure. You separate yourself from the act of failing. You don't let the weather affect your mood. You choose the way you feel because you can separate yourself from the internal and the external environment. And if you face your dark side, you confront and transform it. In this first episode, in this first part, we have looked at mindset and analyzed two different theories. The first theory is a goal-oriented one, where we look at goal setting and goal achievement and what the different stages and phases of a goal, and what's the mindset that is best, is specific for each phase, that it will help me to achieve my goal in a more efficient way. And the second mindset, the fixed versus growth mindset, you see that there are two different overall approach on how to see our potential. One is that our potential is limited, and the second one is that there is opportunity for growth, that we can learn more, that we can learn from our mistakes, and we can do things in a different way. In the second part of this first episode, we are going to be looking at attitude, and also we are going to look at attitude in a very detailed way. So I will see you in the next part. Thank you.